And woo pig suey to all of you. What a weekend in Arkansas, and what a victory for the University of Arkansas. And yes, we will talk about it plenty here over the next 4 hours. That's the talk of the SEC. Arkansas beating down Texas. Winning was enough. Beating them down, something else. And the question, a lot of people wondering, does Texas still want to come into the SEC? The answer is yes. Sam Pittman earlier today on SEC This Morning.
You look at the faces of the fans, and the student section was incredible, and they came early to the game, but they stormed the field, and just the passion for the rivalry between Texas and Arkansas, and just seeing our kids. Now, we believed we were going to win. I mean, we did. So I don't think our kids were surprised by the outcome, but I think the fans were just so excited, and it's what college football is all about, in my opinion.
That we beat Mississippi State last year and went to Auburn, and then, we had that call at the end of the game. Our kids could have got the big head after Mississippi State. They didn't. They played a good game against Auburn. That happened. They came back and beat Ole Miss. Went and played A&M pretty good for last year. It was a pretty good game for us, and then came home and beat Tennessee. So we have proven in the past that we can just flush whatever success or however bad it may be, we can flush it and go to the next week, and I believe that's what we'll do. Well, I think we should be ranked. I think we're a top 25 team, and I'm proud that we are. I'm not afraid to be ranked 20, 24, 1, whatever it may be. Those polls don't mean a lot at this point in time, but to say I don't think we deserve to be in the top 25 is I do. I think we deserve to be there, and I'm proud that we are, and I don't think it'll affect the way we play.
You feel like there's more there for the pass game, and what it's going to take to get that place?
Well, I think it's going to take us not to rush for 7 yards a carry, I don't know. I mean, I'm not throwing it. If I'm averaging 7 yards a carry, I'll never throw the football. If I'm averaging 2, we may light it up. I don't know, but I think that KJ can do that, and he'll only get better, and I think it starts with him getting confidence and running the football.
Of all your drives the other night, the one after KJ's pick and they scored their first touchdown, that next drive, that was a really important drive for momentum, confidence, and everything. What did you think of KJ's reaction and the leading the team after that?
He's our quarterback. I mean, that's part of the reason why we believe in him. And nobody on the sideline, not myself, nobody panicked. The guy made a really good interception. If he doesn't, then it's 7. We score. If he doesn't make the play, it's a touchdown for us. But he made a really nice play, and sometimes quarterback's going to throw an interception. I don't know if Tom Brady's ever thrown a pick, but he probably has, So I don't know. I'm pretty sure maybe he hasn't.
We are so excited about our next guest. He is Bobby Bones, and quick primer for those of you who don't know him. Arguably, maybe not arguably, he is the most influential media person and connected to country music in Nashville. In addition to that, he won Dancing with the Stars a couple of years ago. He's also a regular on American Idol. But beyond all that, we know him as an Arkansas Razorback fan. Bobby, first of all, so many things to say to you. Congratulations. I know you just got married. Every star in Nashville was part of the wedding. I was jealous that I had to watch it on YouTube. Doesn't matter, but we are delighted to have you here. Good afternoon.
Hey, thanks. I'm glad to be here. I listen almost daily. If I can't listen, I watch. And I was thinking whenever we were leaving the stadium on Saturday night, whenever you took that helmet, that Longhorn helmet, and threw it, like that's what was going through my mind, was watching you on SEC Network that morning. So just know that you're on my mind at weird times, Paul. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm just thrilled. I was at a thing in Nashville a couple of years ago. I mean, every star in the world was there, and I was just like tiptoeing around. And you're sitting with, I can't even. I mean, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Nicole Kidman. I mean, it was an endless stream, and I was like, I felt bad to tap on your shoulder and say hello. And I thought you would probably say, security, would you usher this guy away? But fortunately, you remembered me.
Of course, yes. I'm a big fan, and it's fun to get to be on this show when Arkansas is the belle of the ball for a minute, and hopefully it lasts longer than a week. But I'm going to tell you, for me, I've been going to games my whole life. I'm a diehard Arkansas fan. I've got an Arkansas tattoo right here. Like, I represent as much and as hard as I can. And that was that game on Saturday night, beating Texas. That was it for me. It was that and the Miracle on Markham as the two greatest game experiences of my life, except I might put this first because it was never a question of if we were going to win. And I'm a pessimist. I'm used to getting my heart broken. But for me, it was the whole game. The entire place was electric. I talked to Jerry Jones beforehand. I was like, that's crazy. And we went start to finish, and I'm still like smiling, and I'm not a real smiley guy.
Bobby, it just felt that way from the moment I landed there on Friday, and it's hard to describe that to people. But you are part of this culture. You're part of this program in so many ways. What do you think is going on there right now?
I think that, we have a head coach that now is about stability and trust and love and no flash and gimmick. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. And whenever Sam Pittman was hired, I think a lot of people, including myself, was kind of like, wow, I was really hoping to get like a sexy pick, a sexy hire, because everybody gets all these cool coaches. But in reality, like, I couldn't have been more wrong. He is the best thing for our state and our program because he really represents and embodies what my state is. And that is show up, hard work, and we got your back. I mean, that's how I feel about my people. That's how he feels about the state of Arkansas in general. And so, I think a lot of people, whenever, Hunter Yurachek made the hire, was like, interesting. But now we go, okay, we get it. That's why we trust smarter people to make decisions that are smarter than we are.
Which brings me to the last couple of years. How difficult is it, considering you wear your fanhood on your sleeve, to endure what every Arkansas fan has gone through? And it's been pure hell.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. My wife, who is a Sooner, we talk about, because we plan on starting to have kids soon. And she's like, well, let the kids decide what school they like the best, because we'll just see who's winning. And even to hear things like that, she told me the other day she's going to put headphones on her stomach when she gets pregnant and just play Boomer Sooner the whole time, because that's at least a winning song. So for me, I'm not just fighting for my state. Now I got to fight for my future kids that don't even exist yet. But it's been tough. We had Petrino and we were winning. And then that situation happened where he wrecked the motorcycle or got beat up by the dude. Depends on which story you want to roll with. But after that, it has been bleak, other than, briefly with Bielema, we felt pretty good. But I think right now, like, we feel like not only are we going in the right direction, but we feel like we really have some stability under us to endure even if things don't go right for a second. Because as an Arkansas fan, you start to go, well, if there's a chance my heart can be broken, like, it's the Peter principle. What can go wrong will. Or whatever. I'm getting a little too passionate here. But you start to go, well, if it's going to go wrong, it will. And so it didn't, and it hasn't.
What's that? I mean, you deal in some pretty interesting circles, and I ran into Justin Moore before the game, and I know there's a number of other people. You mentioned Jerry Jones, John Daly. We've heard from him often. What is that group like when you're wherever you are in the world or in this country? Arkansas is a fairly small group of people when it comes to those of you who are out there carrying the flag.
Yeah, it's John and I will text a little bit. John Daly. Justin Moore and I are good friends, and with Justin too, if I have too many people, I'll just hit him up for his season tickets. But again, much like I was talking about with Coach Pittman, we know that we're the few But, we kind of always are on a little text line. I'd put Joe Nichols on there as well, where it's, even the hard games, it's like, man, that sucked. Huh? That one hurt. Well, it's a group that's, pretty positive about the future most of the time, although it did get pretty bleak. Basketball, we've been on it. Like, we've all felt good in our little text group for the past couple of years because Coach Musselman's done a great job. But I would say, we feel like we're constantly being attacked by everybody in the SEC. So, if we needed to somehow get together and tribe up and take on people in some sort of battle, we could do it pretty quickly.
Bobby Bones with us. Bobby, before you go, I know you're shy about talking about yourself, but I can't let this opportunity go without thinking about the first time we encountered you to now. And I know there's just too many things to mention, but how are you dealing with all the success and the celebrity and the fame? I know it's what you've always wanted, but you are literally at the epicenter of your industry.
I guess. But here's the thing. In reality, and I'll just be honest, like, I get nervous to do this show. I don't get nervous to do anything. So, and I don't even know what fame is. I'm definitely not famous. But for me, like, I have a show on Disney Plus now that's called Breaking Bobby Bones. And there's 16 episodes that are up. But it's weird to go out now and be recognized for something that doesn't have to do with, my career in radio or American Idol. And so it's been pretty neat to have a project that is just me going out in the world, figuring things out that has nothing to do with music. But, fame, whatever that is fleeting, just like success in the SEC, unless you're Alabama or Georgia. And I'm going to take it while I have it, and hopefully I wake up tomorrow and it's still there.
Well, let's turn you into the former sports talk show host that you used to be. You've done pretty much everything, including a show on Fox Sports Radio. So let's get the Bobby Bones prediction for the Razorbacks the rest of the way. Haynes King could be out probably will be out for the Arkansas game. That makes that game a little more palatable. What do you think?
I think watching Texas A&M play Colorado a little closer than I thought they may have was exciting for me to see, because Texas A&M has a whole different breed of player down there. Sure, you love going to a second-string quarterback. I wish we had him this week when they were, starting that new quarterback for the first time. I think we'll play Georgia Southern strong this week. Here's what stinks to me, Paul, is we got to play Texas A&M back down in Jerry's World. Whenever we played them down at Kyle Field last year, we should have that dang game back in Fayetteville just to even it out. But I feel like we'll give Texas A&M a run. I feel like we'll beat the crap out of Ole Miss. Georgia, that'll be tough. I'm going to be honest with you. The goal, and I'll tell you, I bet right now that Arkansas would the over at 5.5 games, and I felt pretty good about it. I would bet the over at 6.5 games right now. So, that's me speaking from my heart and my head, hopefully.
Your takeaway from a wild night in Fayetteville.
It was amazing, Paul. It was probably one of the coolest environments I've been in quite a while. Granted, takeaway 2020, no environment that year was going to rival anything I'd seen. But I tell you what, as far as just making it difficult for the opposition, it was remarkable. I mean, they legitimately in the stands, Paul, had an impact on the game. Hudson Card, and as you kind of read through some of the lines that Steve Sarkisian had in some of his post-game press conference, and then also some of the things he said today, they're making a quarterback change because Hudson Card looked uncomfortable and looked antsy. Well, that antsiness comes from the environment, I think, to a certain extent. So it was an amazing performance from not just the football team, but from those that are passionate about Razorback football. And then if we want to get down to the actual tape and the film and the performance, that was about as physically imposing along the defensive line as I've seen in some time. They were absolutely living in the Texas backfield and not allowing Texas to do anything with an outstanding running back in Bijan Robinson. So Arkansas is not going away. It is a team that found themselves this past week, and if they can carry some of that momentum moving forward, they'll be a very difficult out in the West.
And it's interesting because, we have been obsessing over October 9th, Greg, but before that, Arkansas will take on Texas A&M, which has been dealt some pretty bad blows without Haynes King available for that game, and who knows how much longer.
I believe it is time for an affirmation from last year that we're going to bring back.
Yes, sir. It frankly felt empty without him last week.
It really did. I mean, Sam Pittman, there's a lot to Sam Pittman.
Yes, sir.
I like that noise. It's right in my ear every time. But the enthusiasm is undeniable and justified this week because the Hogs put it on them, y'all. That's right. against the Longhorns at home, running hog wild for 333 yards, 4 TDs, 7 a carry, dominating on the ground and stifling them with that nasty Barry Odom-led defense.
Yeah, it is, of course, not just that they beat Texas. It is how they did it. I felt that Arkansas got better as the game went on. I think they absorbed Texas's early counterpunch and just decided that they were going to pummel them the rest of the evening.
Yeah, listen, if it's working, feed it. Look at Sark. That's a broken man right there. You know who broke him? That's right, them Hogs. It's really fun, by the way, to just say Hogs. Listen to Sam Pittman call them.
Man, keep that jukebox turned all the way up. Spencer, this is such a huge win for Sam Pittman in Arkansas. First of all, I will cop to being dead wrong about the Hogs. I thought last year may be a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Maybe they weren't going to be able to do that again. But I feel like Arkansas is so fun when they pull off a win like this. And, man, that place was rocking Saturday night.
Yeah, I think people forget this is old beef. No Texas puns here intended, but these are two teams with a long history preceding any future conference membership and involving past conference membership all the way back to the Southwest Conference, all the way back to, epic games of the 1960s that they played against each other. This is also, by the way, this is a forewarning for Texas coming in, because Texas, they're the big dog in the Big 12 right now. They are dominating everything in terms of, money and in terms of taking up oxygen and bandwidth in that conference. They're going to come in the SEC. And right now, they're going to struggle with the 4th or 5th best team in the SEC West last year. That's a shot over the bow. And don't think that kind of thing isn't in the minds of everybody at Texas and everybody at Arkansas, because the rivalry's back on, whether anyone wants it or not. And by the way, from evidence on Saturday night, Texas wants it.
Yeah, this is the theme with Texas, right? For all that money, for all that clout that you have, that's all well and good, but you come in and you get bossed by Barry Odom & Co. Maybe we should have seen this coming, because Sark did not fare all that well against Barry Odom last year. Yes, Alabama rolled in the 2020 matchup between Bama and Arkansas, but Arkansas made him work for it. And Spencer, if that's the takeaway, if that's what Arkansas is, we're going to drag you down in the muck, we're going to beat you up, and we're going to make you work if you think you're going to get out of Fayetteville with a win. That's not exactly a bad identity to have, particularly because I think it encompasses what they are, right? Down in the dirty, big, husky guys. Have you seen the ankles on Arkansas's players? I don't know how they fit in shoes. I don't know how they fit in cleats. There are plenty of cankles on that Arkansas team. They are a thick bunch of boys.
I want to have us explain a little bit of how this magic is happening. We're not just weighing guys on the truck scales. They got to move and do things too, right?
No, look at Bijan Robinson trying to get this 4th and 1 here. Hayden Henry says, no, sir, you will not. We go to the handoff point here. Look at that 10-car pileup in the middle. Bijan Robinson thinks he's got some daylight, but see what flashes? Hayden Henry flashes. A red shirt flashes. That's how physical they were on Saturday night. They stoned Texas over and over. They left Texas bamboozled. Texas is a nose tackle factory. That reminded me of last year when they stopped Mississippi State on 4th and 1. Jonathan Marshall came up huge here to win them the game. 4th and ball game. What is Mississippi State going to do against an Arkansas team that has this identity, that is physical, that is going to beat you up, and that is not going to let you traverse 3 feet? Can't even get 3 feet against these guys?
Not even 3 feet. And this is, by the way, another sort of warning that Arkansas issued that I think a lot of other teams are picking up too. For a while, the big man was, I want to say, not extinct along the defensive line, but it changed a little bit in the SEC. We had these sort of smaller defensive tackles up the middle. The beef was a little bit leaner, okay, so to speak. But then leave it to the Pork Kings to bring this back, okay? Because back-to-back years, we've had Arkansas defenses anchored not just by brilliant linebackers and safeties, safeties and guys who are working in pretty simple schemes to do a lot of damage. But we've had big boys running up the middle now, by the way. A rebuilding project for the big men that not just at Arkansas, but at places like Florida, too, where they've got a 400-pound tackle working. So thick is back, y'all.
Yeah, I want to shout out the nose tackles that Arkansas has. Torian Carter, John Ridgway, Isaiah Nichols came up huge all night, and they bludgeoned Texas.
Yeah, we want to go ahead and look forward, though, because, yes, this is a show about vibes, all right, and we're trying to keep them good here. But I want to go ahead and point out, after the Georgia Southern game where they have that 97% chance to win by FBI,
Ooh, baby.
Gets a little steeper.
It's a little tough.
Versus Texas A&M in Arlington. Then they got to go between the hedges to Georgia, where they have just a 12% chance of winning. And then against the most unpredictable team in the SEC, Ole Miss. Good luck, Hogs. You're going to need it.
Now we welcome in John Ridgway to Thinking Out Loud. John, the question I have for you is, the way you guys beat Texas, how satisfying is it to just physically whip an opponent like that for 60 minutes?
It feels good. I mean, you know, all the troubles you went through during the week with practicing hard and the heat all paid off, you know. Be able to dub a team plus 19 and know that you humiliated them in front of 72,000 people feels pretty good.
John, this is Spencer. I got a question for you. You've had an appendectomy. That's a pretty common surgical procedure. When was yours?
Like 2 weeks ago, I think, something like that.
How did you play 2 weeks off an appendectomy?
I mean, I was in practice like 9 days later. I cannot sit any longer.
Can you just not sit still? Is that? I mean, are you just active like that?
No, kinda. I just don't really. I don't like being in the training room. It just smells funny in there, you know. I just hate it.
I know.
It's a man who wants to be on the field. I dig that.
It smells funny is not doing it for me here, but I'm going to take it as an answer. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, you said that the other two schools, when you were asked what other two schools you were considering, you replied with the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, okay? I just wanted to ask, who could consider those two schools at once? One, there being NFL teams, and two, not a whole lot of people are just sort of going Bears or Packers, or Bears and Packers. You went Bears or Packers. That's bold. That's bold. How did you consider both of them when no one else can?
I mean, I was just like, I'm not going to tell these people who will offer me because we'll play them this year, you know. I don't want it to be biased. And whenever anybody asks, they're like, so the Green Bay or Chicago Bears call you, give you a scholarship yet? And I was like, I'm just going to use that, you know.
John, the most important question to get you out of here is, if me and Spencer come to Fayetteville and we got to go to dinner, where are we eating?
Mm-hmm.
We got a good McDonald's down the street from my apartment. We get you a Happy Meal.
He's a Happy Meal guy. I'm a double cheeseburger guy myself, with the fries and a McFlurry, but the McFlurry machine is never up no matter what McDonald's I go to.
Hey, one real quick, John.
You straight here at McDonald's.
Yeah, are you?
They got the ice cream machine.
Are you a big breakfast guy?
Yeah, I usually cook a big breakfast for me and my girlfriend every morning.
Absolutely.
Pretty good.
John, we're going to come to Fayetteville and we're going to eat some breakfast with you, big fella.
All right, sounds good. Can't wait.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
You know who caused an international incident? That's right, Arkansas. Arkansas fans abroad, I want you to imagine being the neighbors in Rome trying to get a good night's sleep after a massive Italian dinner, and suddenly you're awakened by the sound of called hogs. That's right. Check out these U of A students in Rome. It is 4:16 a.m. You're going to need all the espresso in the world because proud mama Kara Wade is shouting out the hogs.
The horns down were all over the place in Fayetteville. Look at the field storming here. That's a lot of horns down all over that field. I think that may be the international welcome signal for Texas as they look to come in the league in a few years here.
What a weird welcome. I can't decide whether chanting the SEC chant at them is taunting. I can't decide whether it's a welcome. I can't decide whether it's hazing or all of that. I can't decide whether $100,000, which Arkansas is going to have to pay for having all those people covering their grass.
They got that in the couch cushions, man. Jerry Jones was in the stands. Walmart people are all over the place nearby Bentonville. They got the money.
I'm going to say this. As rowdy as Arkansas fans are, they'd pay $100,000 just to see all these sad faces. Look at that. That's priceless for Arkansas fans. Because remember, again, this is ancient beef, and they'd pay, I'm going to guess $1 million. They'd add a zero to that to go ahead and have that. By the way, it wasn't just sad fans. It wasn't just $100,000 on a garden party on the field. No, we got horns down.
That is an HD horns downing of epic proportions on the Jumbotron right there. That's sort of leading everybody in the international welcome signal to the University of Texas.
I hear a ticking clock.
Ooh, a ticking clock that has again broken our program because there's too many hours, too many days until Texas joins the league. Our computer can't handle it.
No. I'm going to help you with this because I have a degree from a technical institution, Georgia Tech. That is 33,268 hours, 24 minutes, and 17 seconds until the Longhorns join the conference. And all those little horns down you're doing, that's like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in fines I'm incurring right now.
Billy, let me flip over to the Longhorns for just a second because I kind of moved on from them after Saturday, but what have been your impressions of what you saw? And to the question about their readiness for the SEC, what do you think?
I've talked to a lot of my Longhorn friends that were talking about how big and physical Arkansas was and how that was kind of why they lost. And I sat there and said, imagine playing in Athens the next weekend and then playing A&M, and then the week after that, your off week is going to Starkville with the Cowbells and facing Mike Leach, and then you're back at it again a week later against Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. This is it's a different league. I think OU will be ready for it somewhat. I think they're going to take a step back and not be going 11-1 every year. But I think Texas, the longer that team can wait to join the SEC, the better for them. And I know they're in a big rush. Every Longhorn I knew laughed at when I said that going into Fayetteville was going to be a tough game, and that Arkansas was going to be pretty good this year, and that 3-7 could have easily been 5-5 in Sam Pittman's first year, and you know, all gas, no brakes, and they ran into Sam Pittman, Mr. Aw Shucks, Mr. Yes Sir, and it really wasn't a competitive game on any level. So it'll be interesting to watch Arkansas the rest of this season. I thought they looked really good. Texas did not look good, and they've got to look around the Big 12. They're going to go into TCU in a couple weeks, and that's kind of a must-win game, I think, for Sark in terms of momentum, because you want to get the type players to compete in this conference week in and week out. Well, you've got to be winning games before you get there, or you're going to come in here undermanned and overmatched, and not just when you play Arkansas. But you and I both know the list of teams, and for A&M, it's been a kind of a steady but long climb to kind of crack up into that upper echelon. And I'm not even saying at the top, that upper echelon. But you can get buried in this conference pretty quickly if you don't have the right players and if you don't have the right coach.
We'll leave it there. We'll let the Longhorns chew on what Billy Lucci said as his exclamation point.
You always do it to me, Paul.
The right coach. Billy, always good to see you. Never disappoint us. We will hopefully see you very soon out there.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks.
You got it. Billy Lucci. Stick that one in your Matthew McConaughey end table.
But before we get into anything else, Arkansas fans still celebrating their big weekend, and they knew they had to start fast, but they also knew they had to finish strong.
This first half, we didn't come to win the first half, did we? No, we came here to win the first damn half. We came here to whoop their ass for 4 quarters or however long it takes.
Sanders coming right, puts his foot in the ground, cuts back up the middle, to the 20, to the 15, rocket to the 10, to the goal line, touchdown Arkansas! Wow!
Rivalries matter in college football, and this one runs deep. I'll tell you what, I don't want to play him.
What are we doing, coach? Turn that damn
I don't think he went to sleep until like 4 in the morning. That defense had one of their best performances in quite some time, holding Texas to their fewest yards in a game since 2015, a mark that spans 3 different Longhorn coaches. The 6 3-and-outs forced were nearly half the total that Steve Sarkisian's Crimson Tide offense had in his 2 seasons in Tuscaloosa, but head coach Sam Pittman wants to keep his team humble.
Well, I think we should be ranked. I think we're a top 25 team, and I'm proud that we are. I'm not afraid to be ranked 20, 24, 1, whatever it may be. Those polls don't mean a lot at this point in time, but to say I don't think we deserve to be in the top 25 is I do. I think we deserve to be there, and I'm proud that we are, and I don't think it'll affect the way we play.
That was a big-time win for sure, and we hit the numbers on the defensive side of the football. Roman, a week ago, you were pumping that Arkansas defense. What did you see in that game?
I mean, outside of Jalen Catalon still being a baller, the linebacking crew and the rest of the Arkansas defense, they ran and hit, and since the first kickoff of the game, Texas wanted none of it, and that is what really set the tone early. Arkansas flew around. They played faster. They played more physical. They knew exactly where to be at all times and shut down Texas's offense. And offensively, they ran the ball extremely well. They controlled the tempo of the game. Up front, this game was won by Arkansas. You look at that 4th down stop that they had right there. Arkansas knew it, and the crowd was behind them. They played at an existential level, and I was so happy to see that from the Arkansas faithful.
You know, Barry Odom had them dialed in on defense.
He did.
There's no doubt. And those linebackers came to play. You know, you heard from Grant Morgan before the game. He's jacked up. When you look at that linebacker position, 38 tackles accounted for.
How many stints?
38. Oh. And another 8 from your boy Jalen Catalon. But you don't want that safety getting too many tackles, right? That's not ideal. And you mentioned the ground game. You had 3 guys to rush for almost 70 yards, including KJ Jefferson. So offensively, when you want to win versus a team especially where you're not supposed to come out and get this victory, right? What do you got to do? You better pack your run game. You better pack a solid defense. They had both. 10 tackles for loss for the defense and a run game. They love Traylon Smith, and you can see why. There's nothing flashy about the guy, and at the same time, he's always picking up 4 yards. He gets first downs and touchdowns. That's who I want to hand the football off to, and if I don't do that, I'm okay with KJ Jefferson in and out with the football in his hands as well. They got right at just the right time, I think, offensively, early in the season versus a team where you wanted to have a statement win. The offense complemented what was otherwise a really impressive defense.
And I want to throw one more thing out there just on top was that KJ Jefferson, week 1 we talked about his lack of ability with the throwing and the struggles and some of the wide receiver drops. You know what they did to build his confidence? We're going to let him do what he does best. He went out there and ran the football. Yeah. We're going to use your legs and your athleticism to go out there and get us a lead, understand what we're trying to do, and build a momentum going that way. And that is what really set the tone. That what allowed Traylon Smith and the rest of the offense to get going was KJ Jefferson. His running ability separated Arkansas's offense.
In 2021, when you win football games, your Twitter account is allowed to be as petty as they want, and Arkansas lived up to the billing on this one. You got to follow this account. It's one of the best in college football. How about this? Very simple. Welcome to the league, fellas.
That was a good one. There were some other really good ones on there too, man.
Yeah.
Somebody did some nice
I like
editing.
Arkansas. Look, I had a great time. I went there with the Nation show.
Yep.
And one thing about Arkansas reminds me so much about Alabama as well is just that if you show love to the people, they show it right back. And I'm showing love to Arkansas. So you guys show it right back. I appreciate that. So thank you, Arkansas. Shout out to them and their fans.
They are having a great time in Fayetteville right now. My word is statement. A couple of the teams that we saw get wins this past weekend made big-time statements. I'm looking at Arkansas. I'm looking at Kentucky. How about this Arkansas team that nationally no one was really given any respect, talking about Texas is going to come into Fayetteville and have no problem. And Arkansas said, yeah, we'll show you a problem. And they certainly gave the Longhorns one.
The people's champion, Arkansas Razorbacks, are a lot better than what everybody else thought they were. Everybody said how hard their schedule was. Everybody talked about how they had all these seniors coming back, and we didn't know about KJ Jefferson and offense. All they did was go out and beat Texas and stomp them out in front of the rest of the country. And that is what you have to do. And if you got Arkansas on your schedule, it's like when I used to fight my brother, Stench. He would beat me up every time, but he didn't like it. He didn't like it at the end, and that is what Arkansas is right now.
Did you get so excited you threw your scripts
I don't need those
on the
notes.
side?
I don't need those
I was
notes.
like, bro, relax. relaxed. I love this. Love the rankings. We're going to do this every week.
And welcome back. We are really looking forward to talking to our next guest, one of the big stars of last Saturday night's huge win by Arkansas over the University of Texas, the quarterback KJ Jefferson. KJ, thank you. Congratulations. I have a sneaking suspicion you've heard that before since Saturday night. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nice to be, happy to be on the show.
Well, just let's talk a little bit about the aftermath first. What's it been like since late Saturday night when every Razorback fan reached an all-time high of jubilation, at least in modern time, and the players were probably somewhere in between. I know you have a game. I know you can't dwell on the past, but what's it been like winning that type of a ball game?
It's pretty big knowing that the Arkansas-Texas rival been going on for a long time, since back in the day, and for us to bring that team in and bring back the rivalry and the culture and the great atmosphere like it was back in the day, was a huge experience for me and my teammates.
KJ, we were out there Friday and Saturday doing our shows, and it just felt like something big was going to happen. We had Coach Pittman on our program as well, and there was a quiet confidence. What was it like for you as the quarterback and one of the most important leaders of this football team?
The main thing, I just wanted to go in and be confident in my teammates and make sure they have confidence in me. And we just had to come out, be more physical, and just play our brand of football. That was the main thing going into the game.
KJ, it almost seemed like the weight of the world was on the Razorbacks' shoulders, and especially yours. How were you able to handle that type of big stage?
The main thing I say was just my preparation early in that week, just taking into consideration that just the little details matter in big games like this, us going against Texas. So my preparation was the biggest thing for me, knowing that if I prepared the right way and knowing that my confidence level would be high, everything should take care of itself come game day.
KJ, now that is behind you, the games will start flying at you guys very quickly. How do you make the transition from that incredible high to just getting ready for every single game? I know it's one game at a time. These are cliches you've heard since the first time you ever put on a uniform, but now you have to execute what you've always heard.
The main thing is just getting back to the basics, just starting back from square one, day one, just getting back to the basics, knowing we got to keep coming in with a chip on our shoulder, working hard each and every day, doing the little details right, because everything matters in this league. We're just taking one game at a time.
And KJ, I want to talk about that chip because everyone knows the difficulty that this program has encountered. Winless a couple of years ago, last year, building blocks under Coach Pittman and Coach Briles. How have you been able to use that chip and make it work successfully?
We just use that chip as an edge, as motivation. Like you said, the last season, we weren't great. We weren't where we were supposed to be. So now coming in with Coach Pittman and Coach Briles and our whole entire coaching staff, just instilling that trust in us, and we trusting them and making sure that their plan it works for us and help us be successful on the field and off the field. So the main thing is just that chip is just mainly motivation and just giving us an edge in each game that we play.
KJ, let's talk about both coaches now. First of all, your relationship with Coach Briles. How do you two operate from a coordinator to quarterback? What's it like?
It's more of like a brotherhood type deal. He makes sure if it's a play that I don't like, we try to get it out or try to see what's going on within the play and see where my reads are and stuff like that. So it's more of he wants me to be comfortable and be confident out on the field. So that way he can have confidence in me, knowing that I execute the play and make sure it's efficient and working the right way.
So will you may have already said this in one way, but will you tell him, listen, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm more comfortable with that? I mean, he obviously knows what you're good at and what you can do best, but you will let him know, right?
Yes, I will try to at least go over the script, the whole game plan script, like that Thursday or that Friday going into the game. So we have been ripped it and got a feel for it in practice. So we'll try to get there early on in the week and try to get some reps at it in practice, see how it looks.
Well, and let's talk about Coach Sam Pittman for a minute, because I mean I just know him as a coach. He seems like this big warm teddy bear. Something tells me he's probably a little more difficult when he's talking to his players. But it does look like he tries to help exude confidence to everyone on the team, especially the quarterback. What's that relationship like?
That relationship is awesome. I mean, he from day one since he first came in, he always tells us that it's our team. And he tried to make it a player-led team as much as possible. He kind of stand in the blind a little bit, let the players, leaders, captains try to orchestrate the team. And then when he just a feel for him to step in, he'll try to step in and let us know, like, hey, this is what we need to do, this is how we got to execute this. And then from that point on, he back out, and the players just come along, the leaders, captain, all of just bond together and just come along and try to help him out and try to just make sure it's just a player-led team rather than just we're being robots or just going through the motion each and every day rather than just us just going out there and just playing ball.
KJ, one or two more before we let you get back to your life. This week, the Razorbacks are in the polls for the first time in a long time, and it's almost hard to imagine. 2 years ago, let's be honest, people were snickering about the Razorbacks. I know there isn't much time to think about this journey, but how are you compressing and processing and compartmentalizing, what this team has accomplished, knowing what I think you're about to tell me, that there's still a long way to go?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's still a long way to go. It's still just focus on 1 week at a time. I mean, the main thing is just not getting too high, not getting too low, just being humble, keeping that level head, make sure everybody keep a level head, just keep working, keep doing the thing that's got us here right now, and just getting back to the basics, knowing that everybody gonna try to. We got a target on our back now that we're ranked, and so with that target on our back, that just make us go even harder, knowing that people are after us and we're not under the radar anymore.
Knowing what you've done and knowing how you have to keep it all in check, but I do have to ask you a futuristic question as we close down here. What is this team capable of doing?
This team is capable of doing very huge and special things, and can't wait to see how far we came to now. It's been a great journey, and I just can't see what the future holds for us.
KJ, thanks so much for stopping by. All the best this weekend and the rest of the way. It's been a pleasure to watch you and especially to get to know you here.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you very much. KJ Jefferson, the starting quarterback of the ranked, how about that? The ranked Arkansas Razorbacks.
This was my best, though, by far. How about the Arkansas Razorbacks getting a win over Texas? I mean, this was a long-standing rivalry. We're seeing it refreshed a little bit with Texas set to come to the SEC. But this was so fun to watch. The stadium was insane, but it's what happened after the dub was finally recorded on the field. AD Hunter Yurachek saying, yeah, we're going to take that fine.
You know they're probably going to take that post down, don't you?
Yeah.
So, okay. They can have it.
Yeah. We're going to let them come down. We'll get fined for it, but if we don't let them come down, we'll get hurt. You know?
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Just let them get the Texas guys out of here.
Yeah.
Let them have it.
Oh, my God, the goalpost is already down.
Good stuff.
Let's talk about just 2 years ago. This Arkansas team was losing to Western Kentucky. Now they beat a ranked Texas team at home. Storm the field, Arkansas. I loved it.
I think they deserve to storm the field. I love that they're like, oh, yeah, fine, no big deal. We don't care about that at all. Those fans and the players, they deserve that moment. You said big win. It was a dominating win. Like, the defense, the offense, they just ran it on Texas offensively and then stopped Texas defensively left and right. Huge third down stops. Yeah. I'm excited talking about it.
They showed up, and they have plenty more to play for throughout the rest of the season. Drea, I was blowing your phone up this past summer when I was out in Arkansas because I actually got to go visit Tusk at his house. He's the hottest hog in the Southeast right now, certainly after their big win against Texas. Let's take a look at where he lives and his digs. Hey, bud. Oh, my goodness. Hi. Hi.
Oh, I love him so much.
One of the things I was wondering when I was coming out here, does he know during the season, all right, it's about that time?
Yes, ma'am. He knows when it's game
Right.
times and stuff, and he's excited. He likes the atmosphere. He likes tension.
Oh, I mean, he gets fed grapes constantly when he's out
Yes,
on the field.
ma'am.
I know I've fed him probably about 100 in my time.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people, if you ever wonder what it's like to travel with a rock star, just,
There you go.
go around
That's
with
all
him.
it does. I just want to like snuggle with him, even though I know I can't. I've seen y'all tweet and post videos of him out in the yard. How fast can he run?
They actually can run very fast.
Yeah.
They actually can run almost 30 miles an hour for short distances.
He's like an offensive lineman. You talk about an inch of fat, sleeping all day, eating all day. I'm starting to feel like I might be a Razorback. Or I want to be. Every time I talk to anyone on the team or to Coach Pittman, they always go back to this team lives and breathes by the blue collar mentality.
Yes,
and Tusk is just a blue collar mascot. So how often does he sleep during the day?
They sleep a
Does he?
lot.
Yeah.
Out of a 24-hour period, they probably sleep close to 18 hours. He's got a pretty easy life.
Right.
I mean, he's
The life of a king.
Yes.
You like the butt scratch like my dog? Yeah. We gotta get all that soap out, buddy. It was the best day of my life. Look at Joe Tess selfieing with Tusk before they were on the call for that Texas-Arkansas game this past Saturday. I will say, not only is Tusk amazing, but the Stokes family who cares for him out in Arkansas on that farm. Talk about incredible people, Southern hospitality to the max. But one of the things that surprised me the most, Drea, was for a noon kick. They live a couple hours away from from Arkansas's campus. They're loading Tusk onto his trailer at like 3 a.m.
What?
For a noon game.
What? Is there a reason why?
It's a lot of work. So it's a couple hours to the stadium.
Right.
They've got this big trailer that Tusk sits in that they tow. So I don't think you can go quite as fast to the stadium. It's a lot of packing up to do, making sure they have all his stuff. So it's an experience.
No, I have questions.
Yeah.
What does he feel like? Is he rough? He can't be soft.
Yeah, he's not the softest.
Okay.
He's a little rough on the outside.
Got
But,
it.
I did learn that them rolling in the mud like that is to protect them from sunburn.
The animal's protecting itself from sunburn?
Yeah,
Really?
he's got skin like ours that can burn in the sun. So when they go out there, it cools them off and it protects them from sunburn, which is awesome. And I know I'm going to get a lot of grief for feeding Tusk the watermelon out of my mouth, but we're just on another level.
You're really on a roll between bananas and feeding hogs, and I'm just going to leave all that to you.
I'm just here for the people in the SEC.
Does he respond to you? Like, you know how you say something to Marvel, and maybe Marvel makes a little noise? Does he grunt back at you?
So not
Tusk,
to me, but to Keith Stokes, his handler there. He would walk in and he'd kind of walk over to the side of his enclosure, and Tusk would kind of hop up and say hey to him, and Keith would give him a little pat on the head, and it was sort of like having a little puppy.
As
but he's
interesting,
500 pounds.
As interesting as Tusk is, because this is just amazing. I think
love you,
that
Tusk.
Arkansas's team is interesting.
Yeah, they've rallied around Tusk for sure this season, because you talk about the performance we saw on Saturday. The question now for Arkansas, right, is this a fluke or are they really a contender? And I think it's a little bit in the middle, right? Their season is brutal. They have one of the toughest seasons in college football. Was this a fluke? Absolutely not. This is a hard-fought, talented team. Are they a contender in the SEC? Not quite yet.
Right.
They've got a little bit more work to do, and we certainly know that, but a hell of a start for Sam Pittman in just his second year.
Well, and you like what they're putting together, right? They have a dynamic quarterback. They've got 4 legitimate options at the running back position. That linebacker unit is relentless. You talk about Bumper Pool, Hayden Henry, right? Grant Morgan. Those guys are phenomenal. Jalen Catalong in the back. I mean, it's they have a lot of the right pieces. It's just kind of putting it together, I think, a little bit longer. I honestly, that Texas A&M game, I think could be a good opportunity. It's at home. It's a good opportunity for them. But after that, they'll face the best defense that they've seen in Georgia, right? I mean, they've got a lot of tough games coming.
You talk about the opportunity to add another statement win on the rest of their schedule. And like you said, I don't think it's out of the question that Arkansas messes somebody up. Ranked now 20th in the most recent AP poll, so things are rolling for Arkansas right now.
Number four here has to do with a team we're all excited about. That's the Arkansas Razorbacks. Big win last week over Texas. How do they handle success? We talk about it all the time, PB. Sometimes it's more difficult to handle prosperity than it is to handle adversity. So do they come back and back up that good win last week over Texas with another strong performance against Georgia Southern? That's kind of what I got my eye on.
Yeah, I want to see how KJ Jefferson continues to develop, and because if they're really going to have a great season, I consider a great season probably 8 or 9 wins, is because KJ Jefferson not only was a threat with his legs, but he becomes a little bit more of an accurate
was
passer.
better than it was in week 1.
Absolutely.
I thought, receivers caught the ball a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson made some big throws, including, after Texas kind of tried to grab that momentum in the second half through a nice go route for a big completion. So that's definitely the thing that I'm looking at the most within that matchup, is just an improvement in that passing game.
Buy or sell. We saw Arkansas hold Texas last week to 258 yards. Now, after they play Georgia Southern, their schedule gets incredibly difficult. So the statement is this: Arkansas's defense will hold up over the course of the next month.
Totally buying it. Totally buying it. And here's why, guys. When I look at this defense, they're violent. They play well together as a unit. They're very rarely out of place. You look at this schedule right now, yes, it's a gauntlet through September 25th on, but I'm going to tell you, this defense is built to last. When I look at the way Barry Odom has constructed this defense as far as their aggression, look at the second play of the game here against Texas last week. Joe Fouché is down here at the bottom. He's going to come off. You're going to see the nose get penetration, and watch Grant Morgan finish with an attitude. There's the penetration. 93 gets a penetration. Now what? Bijan Robinson has to dip in, bounce back out, watch him swarm it. You see bodies flying everywhere. Count them, guys.
Looks like 8 to me, Chiz.
Got 8 guys by the football. But you know what? This is how they play, guys. They play swarming defense. We saw it last year. He mixes in and out of 3 and 4 down fronts. It gives people fits. I mean, Sark is one of the best play callers in college football. He couldn't find a play on his call sheet last week worth a nickel. He couldn't. So you saw a swarming Arkansas defense that will continue to give folks issues.
It's fun to watch them play.
It is.
I mean, there may not be a side of the
I
football
love
in any team in this league that's more fun to watch than Arkansas's defense. All right. May not have been a team in this league that made more headlines last weekend than Arkansas, who blasted 15th-ranked Texas. They host Georgia Southern Saturday, 4 Eastern on this network. Drea Carter worked in the game and also well aware of that Hog momentum.
I think the Arkansas staff has been extremely intentional on handling the success and the Texas game. Head coach Sam Pittman showed his players clips earlier this week of 3 different teams that got a big win and then were upset by an unranked opponent just the very next week. So the importance of focusing on your opponent has been emphasized to these Arkansas players. I think the message has been received. I talked to Jalen Catalon and he told me super simple. Texas is over. The focus is Georgia Southern. I also talked to KJ Jefferson and he said Texas was great, but there are things that he wants to do better, so I feel like they're locked in.
This first half, we didn't come to win the first half, did we? No, we came here to win the first damn half. We came here to whoop their ass for 4 quarters or however long.
Rocket Sanders and the Razorbacks, they are just running wild inside the 10 and into the end zone. A dominant performance from Arkansas. Rivalries matter in college football, and this one runs deep. I'll tell you what, I don't want to play him.
What we doing? What we doing, coach? Turn that damn thing!
What a win for Arkansas, and what a scene in Fayetteville. Georgia Southern running into the 20th ranked Hogs today. Remember, triple option from Georgia Southern, and maybe Arkansas wide receiver Treylon Burks has a breakout game today against a defense that does allow 348 passing yards per game. This one at 4 Eastern right here on SEC Network. And Jordan, a huge win for Arkansas last week as they sort of put their stamp on that game with physicality and showed what they're capable of. When you think about the Razorbacks and where they stack up in the SEC West, coming into this year, we're like, LSU, we're talking about A&M. Where's Arkansas for you right now in the West?
I have zero hesitation saying they're the second best team in the West right now. Zero hesitation.
Yeah, for week 1, you had zero hesitation with LSU, too. Dang!
That was before. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Granted. Valid point, Roman. That was before we knew anything. Now,
hold on. Let me
we have his back for a second. But you also just said last week that Missouri was the second top.
Thank you.
team
And
in
I
the
was wrong.
SEC.
I'm not sitting up here saying I have zero
I know,
hesitation.
but no one's shooting at you, man.
Hey,
it's family.
We all got
SEC
bulletproof
Nation.
vests.
Calm down.
Fair
Let me
game.
make my case then, okay?
Go
There we
ahead.
go. A quarterback
wanted me to say
that is
that.
extremely dangerous with his legs, an elite running back in Traylon Smith, one of the best receivers in Traylon Burks. And oh, by the way, let's look at the defense. They're disruptive up front. Two of the best linebackers in the league once they're healthy. And oh, wait, isn't your guy
No
on
doubt.
the back end,
There we
Jalen
go.
Catalon? And on top of that, Barry Odom has been the best defensive coordinator over the past 2 years at designing and adapting
Best
his
coordinator,
scheme.
period.
Yeah, coordinator period at designing and adapting his scheme week to week. Nobody wants to play the Razorbacks right now.
Yes. I am all in on the Arkansas Raiders. I've been there, though. I've been on the bandwagon. I've been driving the bus. I'm just glad you're finally in.
I hopped on.
Yes, thank you. Come on in, Jordan. Now, not only that, but Arkansas is a team, you look at their schedule, it sets up, that's all anybody wanted to talk about because of how hard it was, the opponents they had there to play and where they're playing these games at. But now you've seen the way Arkansas started this season and nobody's saying that. Now everybody's saying that, man, are you sure you want to see Arkansas? This team is a team that nobody wants to face because you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get tough, hard-nosed defense, a great running game. It reminds me a lot of myself growing up when I used to have to fight my brother at the house, my older brother. And, all the times we get in a fight, and I never beat him. But you know what, though? Every time after I got done getting my butt whooped, he didn't like it. He didn't like it. And that's how everybody's going to feel if they play
Are you Arkansas in that situation?
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hey, listen, guys, we don't promote violence.
Not saying they're going to win every game.
Back to that schedule, they're going to catch Texas A&M at a really good time.
Next
they might
week.
catch Georgia at a good time as well. Both those teams, I think, will improve offensively, but Arkansas right now is the most complete team in the West, and I think that they're a dangerous opponent.
Complete?
Sorry, behind Alabama. Behind Bama.
They're in their own
Listen, I get that.
category, yeah.
I get you're driving the bus. I get you're one of the passengers. If with this whole bus analogy, I feel like I'm outside the bus
So who you
looking
got
in the
then?
windows a
Who
little
you
bit.
putting ahead of them?
Banging on the
Who are
window.
you
Like, what are you
putting
guys
ahead of
I'm just
doing?
watching. Listen, I love it. When we were there last week, and I told you guys, you fall in love with the coaching staff, the players, the strength staff, all of it, the culture that they're building. I think it's awesome. You look at the defense, and they are awesome.
Is there a butt coming?
Well, I still have a lot of question marks about the offense.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
still be honest
true.
about last week.
true.
It was better, but it was because Texas dropped a punt. They should have been a targeting. I hate the rule, but if you're following the rule, it should have been a targeting. There were a lot of things that started to steamroll for them. So I think when you're evaluating going forward in the future, they were at home, loudest crowd they've had in a decade. They were pumped, and the momentum was behind them. A lot like Florida's hoping the momentum can be behind them at 3:30.
There it is.
Bringing it back.
See what you did? It's called a tie.
Very nice. Paul, we threw up the schedule there, and you saw that A&M is next week for Arkansas. What are your thoughts as you look ahead a little bit for this Razorback?
Yeah, I hate to interrupt a UFC cage fight here to get some reality to the program, but let's take a chill pill about Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the train or whatever bus or scooter or whatever it is, but A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Auburn, there's Alabama. I mean, let's just wait a second because next week is critical. You've got Arkansas and Texas A&M, and that has just been a terrible experience for the Razorback. Every year they come close. They're on the goal line. They lose. There's another game next week that I think is also very important, LSU and Mississippi State. We're going to start weeding out some of the contenders, but not today. And what I just got through hearing here, I mean, where can I get a hog hat? I'm getting out of here.
I mean, we could probably get you one, especially after what you did last week. I will say this, at SEC Media Days even, Sam Pittman was looking at the schedule and just sort of shaking his head. So they're very well aware of the challenges that are coming their way, and maybe that's where some of their physicality comes from. They knew they'd have to be prepared in that way. All right, Dr. Pepper's Fansville is always a unique picture from our SEC Shorts team. They've got a perspective on life as an SEC fan, the importance of hiring the right coach here.
Wow. So this is where you hire head coaches.
There's so many. Which one do I hire?
You must choose, but choose wisely. For a true head coach will bring your program success and long-term stability. But a false head coach will take it from you.
Okay, we're going to want an alumnus of the school, someone who understands the culture, successful coaching record at a lower conference level, coming off a big bowl win. slam dunk hire. What is happening to me?
He chose poorly.
Try to avoid trendy, can't-miss picks. Look for someone with a proven record as head coach.
No, that's the face of a leader.
Who even is that?
Sam Pittman, Georgia's offensive line coach.
Does he have any head coaching experience? Was he even a coordinator?
No, he just needs a chance.
You are going to get raked over the coals.
There's only one way to find out.
You have chosen wisely.
Yes, sir!
To come back when he
Credit to Sam Pittman for the work he's done there.
could, but he said we had a little talk, and Wednesday they were back to business as usual. And this is one of those games people have said, you hear it all the time, trap game, right? Texas A&M on the horizon. How will the team respond after the Texas victory last weekend? I think a lot of folks around the country wondering that same question as well. So we are underway. Najee Thompson back to return this kick that will sail through the end zone. As mentioned, Andrea, first 2 weeks for academic reasons, he's back on the field, he's able to practice with the team. He will get the majority of snaps today. Gerald Green runs right into Trey Williams. Nothing happening there. 3rd down and 10. They'll hand it off again. It's Green. He stretches it outside, but he is flipped up. Literally flipped.
Nice job outside, and they just push this ball outside. Your defense does an outstanding job.
Last week, 14 of 19 through the air. Rushed 10 times for 73 yards. Steps up in the pocket, going deep, has a man wide open, and a catch is made around the 25-yard line. Tyson Morris. Another handoff to Smith. Huge hole. He will scoot into the end zone. 13-yard touchdown run for Smith. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
The right guard, Limmer, as well as their tackle, and there's no one that's going to touch Smith here as he's able just to run in untouched into the end zone.
7-0 Hawks. Touchdowns in each of his last 4 games. All starts for the LSU offense. Here is KJ Jefferson. He's driving 3-4 white jerseys out close to the 35-yard line. 1st down and 10 from midfield. Big hole off the right side for Rocket. The catches last week for 37 yards on a 3rd down. Jefferson will dump it off underneath. Here's A.J. Green, another talented true freshman with a 1st down. 14 plays to this point. A little low snap. The handoff goes to Dominique Johnson. He's to the 5 and into the end zone.
No penetration by that Georgia Southern defense. Really only 1 or 2 guys were able to touch him before he's able to get into the end zone. So that offensive line did a nice job up front creating the lane for Johnson there.
Tough loss for Gus Malzahn and the Knights. Good win for Louisville, though. Out of the backfield, a huge collision. They go to Logan Wright, whose helmet pops off.
Great catch, a great throw. It's a wheel route out of the backfield for the linebacker, and Bumper Poole is in position to be able to make that play. It's just after the 1st down, after the catch, and nice form tackle as well.
Tomlin keeps it, turns the corner, and he gets collared and thrown down. Jalen Catalon comes flying in there. Tomlin is dropped inside the 10. Trey Williams, the first one there, the transfer from Missouri, getting to the Georgia Southern quarterback.
Well, Trey Williams, he's matched up. That's a matchup he's going to win every time. He's matched up on the tight end, Boa Johnson. And
back to start this drive. KJ Jefferson, 5 yards deep in the end zone. They hand it off to Dominic Johnson.
Just see him run behind his pads and pick up that first down.
Here's Burks, makes a twisting, turning catch out over the 35. It continues, it's at 23 every game of his career. Big hole up the middle. Dominique Johnson still on his feet to the 20 and knocked out of bounds around the 14-yard line by Anthony Wilson.
Really nice job on this counter play by Dominique Johnson, being able to hit it in the A-gap, and then you see the speed for him being able to get out on the edge.
A.J. Green comes in the game at running back. Jefferson will throw it over the middle. Pass is caught, flag down, touchdown, Tyson Morris. 14 yards on the pitch and catch.
Tyson Morris shows really where he can catch it.
On the defense, number 14. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Really nice job here by KJ Jefferson, and just being able to put it up where his receiver can go up and get it. That's the second big play.
Touchdown reception of the year. 14 yards. Today they've been playing catch up. Trying to speed things up, throwing it around a little bit more. Tomlin, hit, flag down. Brought down by Trey Williams.
Holding on the offense, number 77. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Trey Williams has been a thorn in this Georgia Southern's offense. Tomlin thought that he had an opportunity to step up into that pocket, but Trey is able to really just fall off of that.
Warren to the 40 and thrown down at the 37-yard line.
It's a nice job by Warren, and this will actually count as a pass because the toss was forward for KJ Jefferson. Nice job on faking the reverse and picking up that yardage.
Gain of 44. He'll throw it to Burks. He turns the corner, has another first down. Good block out there by Blake Kern. We saw him come out of the locker room about 5 minutes ago, stayed on the sideline. So whatever was happening, checked him out. It's good, and so was that pass and catch. Blake Kern making the grab. 40th play of the first half. To the end zone, and it's a good one. Touchdown, Arkansas. Jackson making the catch for the true freshman. His first of his career. SEC Freshman of the Week. Hammers that one for the uprights. On the field. Last week we got the pleasure of watching one of the great bands in all of college football. Good look at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. 2 quarters of football in the books. The Hogs lead it by a couple of touchdowns. A.J. Jefferson looking to throw here. Steps up, throws a seed across the middle. Caught there about 38-yard line. Davion Warren, and that'll be a first down. Going deep here. Hopefully she is watching as this one is hit for a home run. Touchdown, Arkansas. Warren Thompson, 60 yards.
And it's a drop 8 defense, and so Georgia Southern is only rushing 3 guys, and this throw, Warren, it's perfect. It is perfect, and this is.
I don't know how much he can do today. He could do that for sure, but there is the linebacker we're talking about, Grant Morgan. Boy, what a scene last weekend. Record crowd here at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Fans stormed the field. Cost the school $100,000, but athletic director Hunter Yurchek said, you know what? I'm willing to pay that bill for the excitement that this man brought to this team since he's taken over this job. It's remarkable. I mean, listen, this team was having 0 success And to have an opportunity in an all-conference schedule, they won 3, but it could have been 4 or 5 games last year.
It really just talks about the type of coach and the mentality that he has and the type of players that he has where they just want to come to work. And he's building a nice program here up at Arkansas.
Here's Burks. Takes a short pass, and he's going to go a long way. It's a race down the sidelines. Touchdown, Arkansas. 91 yards.
Whoa. That's all you can say. And it was set up perfectly. And, I mean, it's not a long pass, but they have blockers out in front. And once he gives that stiff arm to the defensive back, you are not going to catch him. And we talked about being explosive.
That'd have been something. Justin Tomlin, by the way, back in at quarterback. Here's a pitch. Hood gets walloped. Well, those 8 penalties for Arkansas will get the ire of their coach, Sam Pittman. Boy, well played, well read, well done.
Jaden Johnson, he has the quarterback all the way. He's not going to get fooled by the motion and the eye candy that.
Tomlin, 4th and 12. Hood lifted in the air, right into triple coverage, can't hang on, and 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. A.J. Green trying to stretch it near side. Will turn the corner. He'll get close to the line to gain. Rocket Sanders. Down to the 19-yard line. 61st play of the game coming up right here as Hornsby hands it off. The Rocket Sanders cuts it back inside at the numbers, and he'll be inside the 10. Hornsby will keep it. Turns the corner, has some room. Touchdown! Malik Hornsby. His first Arkansas touchdown is a 6-yard scamper.
Malik Hornsby just as its quarterback keeper, and once he sees that he has the edge, two Georgia Southern players run into each other, and once he sees he has the edge, he's way too fast.
For another guy that limped off the field. Hand off. Jalen White hit big time at the 30-yard line. Inside handoff. That one goes to Hunt. He'll pick up 11 yards. 108 yards of offense for Arkansas this afternoon. On 2nd down, they will add to that total. Here goes Oglesby breaking a few tackles. He'll be.
You have to be pleased with where this game was not a trap game for you. You came out and you competed and you were able to come away with a W.
On a 4th down play, Arkansas will pick up the 1st down, and that'll do it. So the Hogs are going to go to 3-0. They're looking, well, they're going to accomplish their first 3-0 start since 2016. First time they've been in the top 25 since that season.
Indeed, they are figuring out, looking to go 3-0 are the Arkansas Razorbacks. The crowd was great in Fayetteville. First time in 88 years they've had 3 straight home games, and KJ Jefferson making them pay early and often. Benjamin Watson, gotta love this team right now.
He did that a lot today. He took that next step, and I think there's a trust level that's being built between him and his head coach. You know, we mentioned that earlier. But to be able to go out and throw deep balls like that and have receivers catch and make plays, got to be feeling good down in Arkansas.
Him with Kendall Briles, that is a good 1-2 punch. 45-10. Arkansas goes on to have a big victory. How much are we believing? Actually, let me start this over. What are you more impressed with? How Arkansas is running the ball right now, or how they're playing defense?
I could say I'm equally impressed with both.
Okay.
I mean, they're
like
both
your kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Is that really true, though?
It really, in this case, it is really true, and I see things on both sides of the ball that I really like. Remember, going into the season, Sam Pittman really felt great about his offensive line. Well, the first game against Rice, I was thinking, look, I don't really see it, right? But then all of a sudden, you saw a different-looking offensive line against Texas. You saw a different-looking offensive line today because of the way they were established in the line of scrimmage, and it got some really good running backs. And defensively, you can't argue what Barry Odom is doing. The defense is sound. They run to the football. They play collectively great as a group. It's great team defense. And schematically, the 3 downs mixed with the 4 downs, it gives people issues. So if you're looking at 2 things that you really want to hang your hat on a football team, if you say you can run the ball and play great team defense, you got a chance to win a bunch of games.
Yeah, their defense, 16 interceptions in Barry Odom's first 12 games of being, defensive coordinator, and so they are a ball-hawking defense. They're what that 2019 LSU defense was that we were talking about and what people want to see in Baton Rouge. KJ Jefferson, though, I think is taking a great step. And I mentioned earlier about the relationship with Sam Pittman. Now, with the transfer portal, there was some discussion that maybe they'll go out and get a quarterback. And then he told KJ, no, you're my guy. I believe in you. I'm going to support you. And so seeing him take that next step to be a passer, we know he's a dual threat. We know he can run the football. But seeing him throw the ball today was very good to see.
B-Dub, you talked earlier about wanting to build as you put games together and get better and better. I've seen KJ Jefferson a little inconsistent, the passing game inconsistent against Rice.
Yep.
They come back against Texas last week. They make some big plays in the passing game, but still not as robust as the run game. And today, I thought they were as balanced as we've seen them all year long. 4 explosive plays of over 40 yards in the passing game. Some nice plays run after the catch by different receivers that are getting involved. So I think they're continuing to develop on top of what that constant is. And that constant's always going to be the run game, and it's always going to be the defense.
I think we look around and think Georgia might be the most physical football team. Could you argue that Arkansas might come in at number 2 right now?
Alabama's not as physical as we've seen them in the past. So I would say Georgia's defense giving up their first defensive touchdown of the season here in Game 3 has certainly...
With the backups.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is very people don't understand. That is very, very important for defenders. Like, we didn't give up a touchdown.
Right.
Y'all did. We're one team.
They get worse angry when it's an offensive touchdown. Offense gives up a fumble,
they'll point that out
pick
quickly.
6. Yeah.
Man, you fumble, you threw an interception.
One of the conversations we'll have, we got a full hour of SEC football final coming up in just a moment, because I do want to get into that conversation. Arkansas and A&M looks a whole heck of a lot different now than it did maybe when we were over at SEC Media Days.
Texas A&M, Zach Calzada, their new quarterback, Haynes King out, finds Damon Demas. This is his first ever reception.
It was important for Calzada to play well. 275 passing yards, 3 TDs. He has to build his confidence because they face a very good Arkansas defense now.
70-yard touchdown. A&M rolls to stay unbeaten, 34-30. You had mentioned Arkansas. KJ Jefferson here to Warren Thompson. Woo Pig, a lot to feel good about.
And Jefferson had another big one, 366, 3 touchdowns. Could be a great matchup. 2 really good quarterbacks playing well right now.
I absolutely love what Sam Pittman's doing there in Fayetteville. 45-10 to final. That sets up the good one between Arkansas and Texas A&M.